Yeah. What's going on, everybody? My name is isaacmijangosBIZ, and in this quarantine content, we're going to be creating the famous whiteboarders that we see mainly on Instagram for photos, but we're going to be creating it for videos. The main pieces of software that we're going to be using are DaVinci Resolve and Photoshop. When it comes to Photoshop, you don't necessarily need it. You can create it with any software that allows you to make layers, and we're going to be mainly using the bucket tool and the rectangular marquee tool. So just be aware of that. And for the video editing software, you can use any software that you prefer. Let's get right into it. So the first thing that we're going to do is hide away from this, go away from DaVinci Resolve, and go into Photoshop. We're going to create a brand new document, 1280 by 720, because that's the footage that the flip camera was using. We're going to set it to 300 for the resolution because this is a digital product, and then the background is just going to be black, and you'll see why later. That's it. You hit create, and then we're going to save as. So we're going to save this as untitled4, save it as a JPEG, save it as a maximum resolution, and then that's it. So the reason I said it as a maximum resolution is because it's going to go through compression 3 times. 1, when it gets created through the border again. 2nd, through the video, whatever video you decide to go through. And then 3 is through YouTube. And then we're going to create a brand new document, 1920 by 1080 at 300 ppi again, standard RGB, but this time I changed the color to white, and you can choose whatever color from the stuff for example purposes. It's just going to be white. And then we're going to go into our folder. We're going to grab untitled4. As you can see, there's been 4 tries trying to make this video. So the nice thing about Photoshop is that you're not wandering around looking for the dead center. It gives you these nice lines. So I just follow the lines until it gives me this nice cross. We're going to hit it onto there. And for the white border, this is all essentially you have to do. There's probably different ways, but this is the most effective way for me as a beginner as well. I just dumped it onto there, and then you can just hit save as. And again, you can save it as a PSD if you really want to, so you can go back to it and not have to go through this process over and over and over again. Or you can go back and then change the colors, change the border, and then just export it as a JPEG later on. But I personally just saved it as a border, and we're just going to create this white border 4, and then hit save. Again, maximum resolution. And then that's it. You can just skip to the part where I'm editing it in video for some small tips and tricks, but we're going to get a little bit more creative. So we're going to open up another new document. Once again, 1920 by 1080 at 300 ppi. Create, boom, you got it on there. And then we're just going to grab our untitled4 JPEG one more time, dead center it, and then hit it on there. So now that I put the black border and the white on there, you might be thinking, like, what do we do next? Very, very important, and the stuff that I messed up on the most was making sure that I created a new layer. Boom, right there. And then I grabbed the rectangular marquee tool. So this is just to create a nice rectangular shape. And I personally eyeballed it. The biggest thing for me was making sure that stuff was even. So even when you're eyeballing stuff, you know, the human eye just has a tendency to look for stuff that's even, and it just tends to be a lot more satisfying. So right there, I created a nice rectangular shape to go around our other border, and I grabbed the bucket tool. So the bucket tool is right here. I don't know what's up with this, guys. Like, someone needs to tell Adobe to not make lists like this because they bug me. And I grabbed blue, and then I just dumped it onto there. So you might run into this problem, right? Like, where did the black border go? Your layers might just be wrongly misplaced. So I grabbed the layer, brought it down, and you can see it's a nice blue border around the black. And usually white goes with anything, or black goes with anything. Let's go a little bit more in depth, and let's make it a little bit more to our style. So let's say you don't like these little ants. I usually hold Command D to deselect everything. Make sure that you flip your colors, and then make sure your background is clicked, and then boom, I put the yellow on there. But this is just getting into a bit of color theory and making sure they're complementary colors. So let's say you're not very good with complementary colors just yet. You're very brand new to editing or Photoshop or whatever. You can go to this great website called flatUIcolors.com, and it's just a bunch of designers who pick colors that go really great together. And all you have to do is hit copy, and it copies the hex code. So all you have to do is go back to Photoshop, dump the hex code onto here, paste, Command V, and you get a nice blue. You're going to choose the layer that you want that blue to go onto. And, you know, to me right here, this one looks slightly too dark, so we're going to go back onto here. Choose this blue. Got it. Boom. Dump it onto the yellow. Choose a color. dump it onto right there, and then boom, dump it onto there. So it's a nice matte colors. There's other websites that you can use, but personally I like using that one because I usually tend to go with the matte colors. So now that we chose our complementary colors, we use whatever colors we like, we use whatever website we liked. You can also go a little bit more in depth, and if you have Photoshop, you can choose, you know, different blending modes to sort of choose how you like. Like this looks really pretty, but that's just a bonus. So let's just go with here. It looks a lot more. This might be for, you know, like a travel influencer or something. So that's it for that part. And then all we do is save as. As you can see, I already saved multiple files because I've shot this video multiple times. And we're gonna go and save it, and I think this is like yellow and purple. Yellow and purple. Again, you can save it as a PSD to go back and edit it. That way you're not moving around or having to redo these steps over and over and over again. But this is just an example. So we're gonna save, again, maximum quality. And this time it's gonna go through two compressions. It's gonna go through the video compression and through the YouTube compression. And we're gonna be in our, you know, preferred editing software, whether that be Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, iMovie, etc., etc. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna dump our yellow and our white border, and then our footage. So we're right here, and it looks perfectly fine. So the reason I personally went with the borders was because the Flip HD camera shoots in 720. I don't know who's shooting 720 in 2020, but YouTube creates these really ugly borders and you don't have any control over them. So this is a nice way to get creative, make borders, make it stand out, use different blending modes within Photoshop, and, you know, just dive more into Photoshop. And what I personally did was just throw this onto here, stretch it out nice like that. I just grabbed I didn't grab the sound, I just grabbed the clips. Depending on your software, it'll always allow you to zoom in and out. So I just zoomed out a bit. And this is why I chose black, because it's the most prominent right there. And it looks very, very nice, right? But let's go into some more tips. You don't want to be doing this over and over and over and over again. You know, you have 3 clips. You might have 15 clips. You might have, you know, etc., etc. But I did the same thing. Just clicked on it. Boom. Aligned it. Boom. Aligned it. And again, you're going to run into the problem where it's a lot larger. So I did copy, highlight these, paste, attributes, make sure that everything was highlighted. If you're using DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro, they'll allow you to copy and paste attributes regularly. So now the footage looks very nice. It has a very nice border, but it looks even nicer when you have more complementary colors. Again, make sure that the complementary colors don't also overpower the footage, because then it doesn't look as nice. So again, same thing. I'm just gonna speed through this. Gonna dump it onto here. Bada boom, bada bing. Mr. Worldwide right here. And again, it's over the border, right? You don't want that. We're just gonna paste attributes. And then that's it. Look, it looks a lot prettier. That looks very, very pretty. Very good. And for the most part, this is about making sure you get creative, understanding a bit of color theory, making sure that the colors don't overpower one another. It's a bunch of stuff that you'll learn. But the biggest thing is not letting the software be your limitations and just getting creative with it at the end of the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. As you can see, it took me like 4 tries to make this. One of them, I was like 15 minutes in and it didn't even record the screen. But make sure to listen to the podcast. I hope this was a useful and intriguing video during this quarantine content. Make sure to listen to the podcast that we just launched. And that's it. At the end of the day, I thank you so much for your time and your attention. My name is Isaac Mijangos, and I'll catch you in the next one.